How did this stay alive? I had to find out.
A Japanese IC card lets you tap in, tap out, and know your fare is handled in seconds. In America, the same trip can still mean swiping, waiting, checking balances, and hoping the reader does not fail. That difference is why Japanese train cards make American transit feel outdated. And if you like clear comparisons that turn everyday systems into something you can actually understand, this channel is built for you. The first shock is how little thinking the card asks from you. In Japan, the IC card is usually just one tap at the gate when you enter, and one tap when you leave. The gate does the math. You do not stand there trying to guess which fare zone you are in. You do not need to buy a paper ticket for each ride. You do not need a separate ritual every time you transfer. That sounds small until you compare it with a lot of American transit experiences. In some places, you still have to manage a physical card, load it separately, or deal with a system that feels split between old and new technology. Even when the payment is modernizing, the writer often still has to think about the system before they can think about the trip. The IC card makes the writer's job disappear. Next, the fare itself becomes part of the background. The fare is hidden inside the trip, not placed in your face. A Japanese IC card can store your ride history, your balance, and the exact fare adjustment between stations. If you enter at one station and leave at another, the system calculates what you owe without making you stop and solve it yourself. That matters because transit should feel like movement, not paperwork. In some American systems, you still feel the machine first and the journey second. You may reload a card, check whether the balance is enough, or watch people hesitate at a gate because the reader is not cooperating. Even when the process is not truly difficult, it often feels fragmented. One trip becomes several little tasks. Japan's system reduces those tasks into one motion. And that one motion changes the mood of the whole station. The station feels faster because the payment is invisible. Look at a busy train platform in Japan. People are moving through gates with almost no pause. Students, office workers, tourists, and grandparents all use the same basic action. Tap, walk, ride. That is a huge contrast to systems where payment still creates a bottleneck. If you have ever seen a crowded station in the United States where someone is trying to figure out a card reader, you know how quickly a small delay spreads. One confused rider can slow everyone behind them. The design starts to matter more than the train itself. This is one reason Japanese transit feels so polished to visitors. The card is not flashy. It is not trying to impress you. It is trying to disappear. And when payment disappears, the whole city feels more connected. The best part is that the card works beyond the train. This is where the IC card gets even more impressive. In many places, the same card is not just for one rail line. It can work across buses, different train operators, and even some convenience store purchases or vending machines. One card can become part of daily life, not just a transit tool. That is the kind of convenience American writers notice immediately, because transit often feels more divided. Different regions, different cards, different rules, different apps. You do not just ride transit. You learn a local system. Japan shows a different philosophy. Make one card useful enough, and people stop thinking about payment as a separate problem. And that is why the comparison hits so hard. The real gap is not just technology. It is design. Japan treats transit payment like infrastructure. America often still treats it like a customer process. That is why one feels smooth and the other can feel dated, even when both are trying to move people from one place to another. A good transit card should do one thing: get out of your way. Japan's IC cards do that so well that the whole system feels calmer, faster, and more modern before you even notice what it is doing. If your city had to copy one Japan transit detail tomorrow, would you pick the tap and tap out card, the automatic fare calculation, or the fact that one card can work across so many parts of daily life?